Then I'm gonna introduce Coach. All right, everybody, you listen to The World According to Rocky, and I am your host, Rocky Miller, and this is a very special episode. We have a UT legend. Most importantly, a Waco High legend.
Yeah.
And the current Waco High Lions head coach, Kwame Cavil.
Hey, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks
Coach,
for having me.
First off, I want to thank you for taking time out to come on the podcast.
No problem.
This is something I hoped you would do, but I knew you were a busy man.
Yeah.
Actually, we had talked briefly early in the year about you doing the Victory Bowl with us.
Yeah.
But you had Daddy duty, I believe. You had some volleyball to watch.
I have to. That never ceases, right? When you get into that position, you always got that duty, right? But yeah, that took precedent over the time.
Yeah, I completely understand. So we're here, Coach.
Yeah.
And let's. This journey didn't just start last year when you were hired as head coach.
No.
You grew up in Waco.
Yes, I did.
Tell me what being from Waco and being the head coach of the Waco High Lions means to you right now.
Oh my goodness. Where do I start? First of all, I love Waco. Okay. All right. And you got to put that out there because when you grow up here, it's funny, like a lot of us that grow up here end up leaving and then only coming back periodically. You know what I mean? And for this is a full circle deal. I can give you a story about how this all, God, first of all glory goes to God. And it's a blessing. Once you realize when you're older, when you're younger, you're just going. And then as you get older, you learn how to take the hands off the wheel and let him guide you. I say about 2007, I was facing, that it wasn't midlife crisis, but I was facing, what did I want to do? And I had just left the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have my degree, and I knew I wanted to finish. I made a promise to my grandmother out of Cavil who is also a Waco resident, former Waco resident, R.I.P. rest in peace. She's gone now, but I made a promise to her that I was going to finish my degree. And I remember coming back from being released by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which was my last CFL team that I played for professionally. And I came home and I had my firstborn, Skylar, who's now a junior at Hendrickson. I had my firstborn and she was already here, but I had another one on the way, and I didn't have any trade. My trade was football. And my mom sat down, Chris Cavil, who's been a teacher in this area for a long time. She said, "Hey, we need to do something." And my dad was the same way. He was like, "Hey, you need to find a trade. Okay, you can't just play. I told you this time was coming. You couldn't just play football. Now what are you gonna do?" And I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. But I told my mom in 2007, I said, "Mom, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to come back and be the head coach of Waco High." And she'll tell you that. This was 2007. And because I believed it. I knew this was my dream goal, to be in this position where I'm at right now. And from then, the Lord just started leading my steps to this point, and that's why I'm here now. So it's crazy.
Like I say, Coach, you had what I would consider a kid from East Waco.
No question. Me too.
Kid from East Waco.
By the way.
You've had I hate to use the word storybook.
It's still going.
But you were a kid that, participated in local sports in East Waco.
Yes. True story.
Went to Waco High.
Truth.
And earned a scholarship to the University of Texas.
Truth.
Went to the University of Texas and starred, by all accounts, record-breaking wide receiver. And had the opportunity to not only play in the NFL, but also play in the CFL.
Truth.
That is any one of those accomplishments.
Blessed.
Any one of those accomplishments from where we originated
Right.
is an accomplishment.
Oh, no
you know what I
question.
mean? Any one of those. Just to be a star at Waco High is an
a blessing.
accomplishment.
Yes, true.
But you have been on this course,
Mm-hmm.
and is there one thing that you attribute your success to, Coach?
Yes. My mother and father, my family. Cavil, who has been a pillar of this community for a long time. I had great
former
yeah.
president of the Waco ISD School Board,
Truth,
correct?
Truth. And from there, I had a model in front of me of what it looked like, and there were expectations and placed in front of us, and I was just able to be the youngest of three brothers, okay, and I was able to see their trials and tribulations, learn from them, and try to be the best version of them, and from that led me to those accomplishments. But just family, man, just having that support system in my life I was able to take advantage of that, and not just them, it was others too. There were others. I mean, from Mr. Foster, from Mr. Tim Foster, from Greg Jackson, my next door neighbor, from my little league coaches, it was a myriad of factors that shaped my life that got me to this point. So,
well, one of the things that outside of your athletic ability, one thing I always admired about you as a person and a player,
appreciate it,
is that you made everything look like you were having a ball.
No question. No question.
And I didn't. Like I say, football is a really tough game.
It is.
Kwame.
It is.
And I didn't realize how tough it was until I was reminded today how tough it was when I came out and looked at practice.
And you
saw how hot it was. I say, how are these kids?
My goodness. Let me tell you something. Now that I'm a coach, I think that's when you become a coach, you learn to. I wondered how Coach Brown and my other coaches knew how to taper this or take away this period or bring fun when you needed fun or certain things as a coach. You kind of get that feel of like, it's time for us to bring it in and do this. Or, hey, let's do this. Let's spice up and do this. Let's switch it up and do this. And what happens is you understand as you get older that the grind, the war of attrition that you go through out there on a day-to-day basis, like my man Tom Herman at UT says, try to go 1-0. You know how hard it is to go 1-0 every day?
Absolutely.
Just trying to go 1-0 every day. So,
I guess those small victories allow you to have big monumental victories later on, because today was an extremely hot day.
No question.
And we had several parents out here watching.
Yeah.
And, the kids were enthused and they were out there practicing, going full speed. It reminded me of the good old days.
No question. Hey, man.
And even out there in that heat, Coach, you had a smile on your face. So it's good to see that even in this, even during these times, Coach, you still have a lot of fun. It's probably doing whatever you're doing, but I've seen you play a lot of football and you always had fun regardless of the score, regardless of the circumstance.
My dad. My mom is, I'm always going back to those roots, right? My mom was the disciplinarian. My dad did discipline too, but we were his boys. It was the three boys, you know what I mean? So he
hit the jackpot.
You know what I'm saying? It's his boys, right? It was hard for him to discipline us, but he did. My mom was the one, right? And so she kept us grounded and made sure that, and he did too, but she was more than one. Moms usually are. She's more than ones because she was, former teacher, not former teacher, but a teacher, and so everything was meticulous. Like the way you spoke, she would correct you. And she's a very cleanly woman, so if the dishes wasn't washed, she was gonna tell you about it. In more ways than one. Okay.
She's such a sweet. Seems to be such a sweet lady.
Now. she was there, but that was mom.
She had standards.
Had standards, high expectations, and my dad was always fun, happy, gregarious, always laughing, joking. Even when he was around his friends or we watching the game, it was always a levity to it that he brought to it. As far as it was always, he could go back and be serious, but it was always joy. And I was told in a young age, if you do what you love and love what you do, are you really working?
Nah, you're not.
You're not. So if you're loving what you do and you're doing what you love, you're having a ball. And right now, I'm having a blast, right?
So that brings us to right now. So let me go back to that storybook I was painting.
Yeah.
It's not all. It hadn't always been a storybook.
No.
I think you made it into a storybook because
Right.
coming into high school,
Right.
though you were a gifted athlete,
Yeah.
you had two sports that you
Yeah.
were battling to see
Yeah.
which one you wanted.
Yeah.
You picked one,
Yeah.
and you made the best of it.
Yeah.
Started out as a DB, ended up a linebacker. Going to college, wasn't recruited as a wide receiver, huh?
No. Well, I can tell you what. I played quarterback middle school all the way to 9th grade year. So coming into Waco High, I was thinking about being a quarterback. And Coach Tusa sat me down and said, hey, I need a safety. And he said, you could battle a quarterback or you can go into safety and fill that void that we were lacking. And I think, as a coach, you try to see what's the best fit for your team to make it better. And you got to be selfless. And that just came from home, knowing that, hey, okay, this is what you need. I guess this is my role. Let me fill it and be the best at it. So I went from quarterback to DB, and then as the season went on, I was making a lot of tackles, and I was one of the most physical guys. So Coach Bishop came to me and said, hey, we're going to move you to linebacker.
And you were being recruited as a safety.
As a safety all day. And one of those, that was right when the football world was starting to get that nickel hybrid look. Okay. The safety that could play linebacker too. Mm-hmm. Texas Tech was famous for the defense and for rolling that safety down and making him a linebacker, making him a hybrid. Then Nebraska adopted it. So we were doing that type of scheme as a team. And so they moved me down, and I loved it. I mean, you just want to play.
And win.
Right? And win. You want to play and win. Whatever you can do to play and get the victory, you're going to do on the football field, So if it helps my teammates get better, that's what I was all for. So, yeah, man, it was just...
And you're moving, and if I recall correctly, you're moving from safety to linebacker, have turned your team's season around.
Yeah, got a chance to. I mean, I think it was a lot of the schedule was good. Coach Tusa had a way of, he wasn't scared to play nobody. Now, he going to play some people. And I understand because we like to play here in Waco, We'll play.
Yeah, there was nobody we were scared of.
No. Who? Okay, play them, schedule them, we don't care. And and we started out 0-5.
Back then, that was
the worst.
I mean, but, that was the worst, probably the worst start ever.
Ever. And as seniors, my offensive coordinator, Robert Glenn, who was the quarterback on that squad, we had to have a long look at ourselves and say, hey, we're not going to go down as the worst team to ever come through here. No. That's what we're coming to the brink of doing. And the schedule flipped for us, and from those hard games, the schedule softened up for us, and we got on a roll, got momentum, got confidence, and bam.
Well, like I say, I think you guys were a good team who played a tough schedule.
Yeah.
But I also think those changes and those that you making being a recruited player at safety, going to linebacker, reestablishing yourself, kind of helped change the momentum of the team and the trajectory of the team.
Yeah.
Which brings you into this situation, Kwame.
True.
Though it was your dream to be the Waco High coach.
True.
Waco High is coming off some really tough seasons.
Yeah.
You're not coming into a situation where you were. Matter of fact, the coach stepped down a month before the season started.
Yeah.
You were given the job.
Yeah.
You accepted.
Yeah.
But it was a tough situation.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us about, not necessarily what did you learn out of that season, not the outcome or whatever, but what did you learn about the city, the program, and what did you learn about coaching in that particular environment? Because that's as tough as it gets.
Yeah, winning is hard. Okay, there's a process to it. You gotta respect the process. You know, you hear Nick Saban say that all the time, but it's true. Little by little, you gotta lay that brick, that foundation, little by little, to build the house that you want. And what I learned was there's some things that we needed to do differently. As far as I think we talked about this before, but I felt like with the change and transition that happened, I felt like when I first got in there that there was no heart, no love, like we had lost it. It had been taken away just from transition, from coach leaving and having to carry the transition over and over the years. I just felt like we were used to being a certain way, and what I had to do was inject some life a little bit into this program, and you know, with change comes resistance.
Absolutely.
And I felt that, and what that does is, here's the deal: if nothing worth having is gonna be easy, okay? And these kids want to win. This community wants to win. I want to win for this community, but it's not, that process is not an easy one. It doesn't happen overnight.
Especially when we took when as a program,
yeah,
we took the dip the way we took it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We've had a pretty steep dip.
Yeah,
and when you look at the last 10 years
yeah.
of this program, having to have in 22, 23 years with Coach Tusa,
right,
and being one of the best programs in the state, to dip into where just making the playoffs when there were 4 teams was difficult.
Now, now let me say this now. Coaching to get the desired response that you want, okay? That's not to bash anybody that came before me, okay? Because they came in here and did the job that they thought that was presented in front of them. And out of that came some, 7-win seasons, just to win a game, just to win one game, okay, is a tough thing to do in Central Texas and 5A, 6A ball, and that has to be respected. And go ahead.
I get it, Kwame, but what I'm saying is that historically, the program had a standard of winning that was established by Coach Tusa.
Yes, and
his predecessors, his successors,
right,
for whatever reason, whatever the circumstances,
right.
They weren't able to achieve that.
I get that.
You coming from that, coming from that, and I believe from the community had an immediate expectation.
Yes,
that just you being here was going to be enough.
Yeah, yeah.
So
takes more than that.
and again, that's not to say that the community had unrealistic expectations, but you gave the community hope.
And that's
you gave the community hope.
That's beautiful.
And it's exactly what the community needed at the time. And so when you come in as the coach and you have the year you had, right? The year you guys had as a team, but I can see you at the Y. I see you around town. I see. Most coaches be looking for.
No, man.
And I see you around town.
It's my city.
And I think it was very refreshing to see. Even you all around town. Different, youth sports, whatever. Interacting with players, feasting, all those places. Knowing that. I guess you were comfortable knowing that the community had your back, and you didn't have to run from anybody or hide or anything.
Well, I've always had confidence in my ability, and I've always understood that it's bigger than me. Like, this ain't about me, man. It's bigger than me. God has placed me in a position, and it's a whole story, and it's a whole nother pathway and and the story I'm just part of that story. And he placed me here for a reason. What that reason is, we'll find out as I'm here. But Waco, East Waco, the Y, J.H. Hines, I've been walking those streets for years. Like, I've been going to J.H. Hines and watching my mom teach there. I've been going to the Y before that branch was there.
On Live Oak.
It was over there on Live Oak. What about, I've been going there for years, you know what I mean? And playing basketball and being part of the community. So I gotta be me, and that's gonna be me. I'm not gonna shy away from that, and I think I learned that from different coaches. I think Coach Brown was one of those, and my coach, my college coach that I kind of patterned my game after, who, by the way, God rest his soul, he passed this weekend, Coach Darryl Drake, Pittsburgh Steelers, formerly was my coach. He was
at University of Texas.
University of Texas. He was one of my mentors, and his style was like that. He didn't shy away from nothing, right? He was one of those. He was going to be him, and he wasn't going to let the job change who he was. And I felt that. So I always knew that, and I've had other coaches say, hey, don't let it change you. Don't let this position that you're in, let it change you. Be who you are and mold the position on how you want it to be. And that's what I've been trying to do. And I think our youth, kids that look like me and look like you, need to see that, need to understand that I'm accessible and that you can do it.
Fully invested.
Fully invested. It's not about because I'm the head coach. No, it's because this is what I want to do. I love to do it. And I have a passion for teaching kids. Okay, I was a teacher before I was a coach. And most coaches are teachers. And when you have a passion for doing that, you want, like, seeing somebody grow and seeing the light come on. It's nothing like the light coming on for a child or a kid. When they look at you like.
So that you're talking about the light and the lights coming on for kids.
Yes.
That brings us to where we are today.
No question.
It is August the 13th.
Yeah.
I don't know how many days before the season starts.
Yeah,
but the season starts on the 30th.
It's soon. It's coming.
And so, tell me about what's going on with Waco High and the team, and kind of tell me about how's the team grown in 1 year.
Okay. First of all, I had to establish a culture, and I wanted when I first got the job, I asked my seniors. So what does Lion Pride mean to you? And it was what you hear right now.
Silence.
Crickets. Because they didn't, it wasn't established what Lion Pride really is. It was just, we're gonna say it. But I wanted to hear, hey coaches, this. And I didn't hear that. And it wasn't no detriment to them. It was just, it hadn't been put in them. And so what I did is I established the 5 rules of Lion Pride. Rule number 1 is master the art of listening. Okay, you know as well as I know, as a young person and as you get older, you have to understand there's a process to listening. Okay, and going back to my teaching days, the process of listening is it's hearing, paying attention, and developing understanding. Well, where that comes from is that old saying, you see with your eyes, and God gave you 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that. And that's just the art of listening, right? And so that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is buy into your school, okay? Being a former Lion, all right? Being a former Waco representative, resident, not former, but, you got to buy into your school. And buy into your school is, okay, it's Waco High. It's who we are. Mm-hmm. We're Lions, okay? Absolutely. So you got to wear that with a badge of honor. No matter what the circumstances. To graduate from high school, number 1, is an accomplishment. To graduate from Waco High, you got to buy into what that is.
Absolutely.
Okay? And these kids need to understand that's a part of Lion Pride. Okay? Picking up the trash. All right? Going to class. Graduating, okay? Going to be somebody. Coming back and letting people know how it's done. That's Lion Pride. So buying into your school. Number 3 is commit to getting better every day. Okay, you got it. Okay, first of all, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you what it was. The great thing about life is when God gives you a chance to wake up, that's another day to get better.
Absolutely.
Okay, and you got to commit to that. Some people commit to not doing anything. Okay, when you commit to getting better every day, there's something about that. Okay, that gets you moving and gets you going. Number 4 is train to win. Okay, that's what we're doing right now. All right, we're training to win. Okay. Got to commit to getting better every day before you train to win. Because if you ain't committed, then what are you training for, right? So train to win. And number 5 is what we try to do every day. It's finish. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
You start, and you got to finish. Okay. Absolutely. So I had to implement those rules of life, really, because it's not about line price, really life. They can take that with them and teach their kids that. All right. Number 2. The second thing I did was I had to develop a credo. Like, what is it about Waco High? Okay, what is something that we can hang our hat on? Number 1 is we always talk about pride. Okay, well, the credo is the pride and the winning tradition of the Waco High Lions will never be entrusted to the weak nor the timid. Now what they say is, what my kids say is "sir" at the end, right? Yeah. I love that. Now they created that. That makes me feel.
Say that again, Coach.
The pride and the winning tradition of the Waco High Lions will not be entrusted to the weak nor the timid.
Oh, that's lovely. I may even memorize that myself.
Oh yeah. Now here's the deal. Now let me tell you something. The most extreme form of flattery is what? Is
imitation.
Yeah. So. I learned that from the University of Texas. So I ain't gonna take credit for it. All I did was bring it. But it's beautiful though.
Well, Coach, one of the things that I'll say about it is that that was one of the staples. If you ask Coach Love, if you ask Coach Tusa, Coach Bishop, the Price brothers, Coach Egbert, or whoever it may have been, you, in order to be a Waco Lion, you had to be tough, and you had to be aggressive.
You couldn't be weak.
And if anybody played through their entire 4 years at Waco High, you knew what they had inside whether they were bench players or whether they were superstars.
The beautiful thing about, because I grew up watching, I was fortunate, okay? I've been blessed, okay? With my father being the president of the school board, you get some amenities that come with that, right? Meaning that, okay, you get to go to the games. I remember driving to Paul Tyson in our what was the van that we had? God, what is it? The old school van? I can't remember. But anyway, we were driving there, and the superintendent or the principal would be at the gate. He would wave us in. We got a chance to go into the gate over there by Paul Tyson and watch the game. So I remember watching D. Foster. I remember watching Ross. I remember watching Greg White. I remember that '87 team. I remember.
That's my team.
I remember that. I watched that, right? And now I was knee high to a butterfly, but what I felt was the excitement of being there. Like, you can't take that away, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I remember watching you go out there and. You know what I mean? And watch the crowd beat. I used to remember seeing the game and hearing the crowd listen to the line beat. Like, you don't forget that, right? So when I got here as a player, it was like, I want to be Lawrence Shaw. I want to be LaCurtis Jones. I want to be Terry Bell. I remember Fight. I remember Richard. I remember my brother. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be a part of that. Right, so
your brother played on a great team.
He did, very great team. So that tradition of excellence that was started here, to play against the teams y'all played, I remember reading the paper and seeing that. Okay, here come Converse Justice, and then coming out here and seeing Chael and Ralph and a couple other guys come over to the house and seeing that swag that they be like, man, watch. And seeing that toughness come out and learning that, that's...
And it wasn't false bravado for us.
No, it's something about being from Waco that it's the pride. Because no one ever says, it's we're picking Waco. No, it's always the other. We were always the underdog. So we had that chip on our shoulder about, hey, this is what we do here. All right, you're going to come down here. All right,
and you're gonna leave with knots all over your body.
You're gonna know you been in a football game. right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I always took pride in, winning or losing. When I watch you guys play, even when I travel to Irving and watch you guys play, Arlington and watch you guys play back 96, 97. I want to say, even though you guys didn't win, y'all played some ranked teams, but y'all played them hard, and there was never any quit.
Right.
In y'all, and so that's one of the things that was a staple of the program.
No question.
And so
you had to bring that. I wanted to bring that
because that part of it, for whatever reason, and that was gone. And I've heard people, kids are different or whatever. I know this, that if you demand something of a kid, and he really wants to be out here, then he'll be here.
Well, you have to. Here's the thing. First of all, I was, when I started coaching, Waco has always been in my district as a coach. I was on the opposite side.
That's right. You came with Maynard one year, didn't you?
Yes, I was at Maynard.
And we had the lead.
Yeah, man.
We don't give up leads, and y'all got one.
Yeah, man. So it's like growing up in the coaching world. Okay, I always played against Waco. Right, they were always in my district, and but it was crazy preparing for your team. So what I always did to my teams that I was coaching against Waco, you would think Waco was undefeated if I was coaching, because I was like, okay, all right, because I knew I was like, they may come in a little route, okay. All right, you think they ain't gonna come in here and hit you in your face? I know it's over there, right? Mm-hmm. So our kids would always play up to that. So, but what I used to see was I didn't see it matched enough for me. Okay, and as an alum, you always want to, the competitive spirit is you want to win. But as an alum, I would always feel like, you know what? So I want more from my team. And now being in the position I'm in, I want more. Like it has to be more. And call it what you want. Okay, the expectation. If you set expectations high enough, somebody got to meet them, right? So you got to set the bar high. Now, is that playing with fire? Sure, but if you scared, go to church. Like that's why I say
that's
kids, man.
That's one of the things that I saw last year, Coach.
Right.
I happen to know a few kids personally and know their families. And even before the season last year, they seemed kind of whooped.
Yeah.
Probably when you found them, they were whooped.
Yeah, tough. Tough on them.
But today, walking through there, watching them come in for practice, watching them, that's not.
They don't sound like they're the same guys, right?
Those guys ain't whooped, Coach. Somebody's in for a long night.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I don't prognosticate Waco High games because I pick them to win every game.
No question.
But
I feel it.
But if it was ever something by the look on their faces, by the enthusiasm that exists within this locker room right now, Coach, it's a transformation that just looking at the kids I know, and like I say, I'm looking forward to August 30th and the game with University. The youth. Hey, and they gonna be ready, Coach.
Oh yeah, Smitty doing a good job, man. I mean, this is his fourth year, I believe, with the program, fourth or third. But he's making some changes too, and that's only right. But at the same time, it's Waco. It's all of Waco, right? As far as you have other entities outside of Waco, but as far as where we are, we're representing a certain demographic in a certain place, right? We are the inner city school. Let's make no bones about it. University is too, okay? And we represent a certain demographic, and so what we're trying to do is give that community, all right, something to be proud of.
Absolutely, Coach. I'll say this, and because I know you want to speak to the community, but I just want to make this statement.
Yeah.
For over 25 years in this community in Central Texas, Waco High was the most dominant. Yeah. It was the premier program.
Truth.
And in Waco
Yeah.
by any measure.
No question.
By when you talk about recruits,
Yeah.
guys going to the NFL, wins,
Yes.
no doubt,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are looking forward to that level of success. But what I want to say is, regardless of the outcome of the games, I want to ask the community, come out and support.
No question.
Come out and support. And if you are a Waco High alumni, I want you to do something right now. Jamal, can you put the text number on the screen so that if you want to take part in, be a part of the alumni in order to help create enthusiasm, be part of something as we build it, please text Waco Lions to 25827. Waco Lions to 25827. That way we can collect your phone number, and as we have events related to the football team, related to other sports, UIL competitions, we can notify you and let you know, you know, for anything from pep rallies to cookouts to anything we're doing for the kids. Because right now, there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of hard work going on, but what needs to happen more than anything at this point is community support,
love,
and love. What you say? We need love right now.
Love.
The guys are doing the work. They need love right now. So I'm personally calling out the guys that played with me, the guys who played with Waco High, to come out and let's support. Let's interact with the kids. Let's let them know what it really means to be a Waco High Lion. And I'm almost certain that you'll see that commitment and drive on the field come back again, because that's what they need. But what would you like to see from the community, Kwame? Now that you're here, now that you've been in this spot for a year, what would you like to see?
That's a good. I'm glad you asked. It's a great question. Okay, first of all, thank you. Okay, let me say thank you to everybody out there that had anything to do with me as far as a person and being in the position that I'm in. Because what happens when you get to a certain age, you start becoming more reflective. Okay, and what we don't do enough is acknowledge those people that have poured into not only you but to this community in general, and people like myself. Okay, there's been others that could be worthy of this position, but I've been anointed the person in this position, being the first black coach to ever.
Oh, I didn't even mention that, the first black head coach at Waco High.
It's serious, okay, and I should take it as such, okay, because when you become the first, that means you're setting it up for people after you. Okay, so how you handle that has everything to do with the next predecessor.
You could be coaching the future Waco High head coach.
He could be out there right now, right? Or he could have been here and left and want to do the same things. And it could be others that played when we played that want to have future endeavors. Because we have some great people out there doing some great things, right? So first of all, I just want to say thank you and allude to that. Secondly, as far as what I want from the community, the same things they've been giving to me for years is love. Okay. And support. I mean, like, here's what I can tell you. When I went to the University of Texas, the one thing that I understood, that I was a part of something bigger than me. Okay. So at practices, there was three things that Coach Brown said when he first got the job. When I first got to Texas, it was Makovic. Okay. And Makovic came from a professional type of atmosphere, being that he was with the Dallas Cowboys, and then he coached under Tom Landry. Okay. And those of you who are Dallas Cowboys fans, okay, and there's a lot of them out there, including myself too. I mean, I don't know how you cannot be affiliated with the Cowboys a little bit. I know people not gonna like that, but I grew up rooting for the Cowboys. All right, it was the early '90s, Emmitt Smith out. I grew up doing that. All right, but anyway. Makovic coming from Tom Landry, and you know Tom Landry.
More of a parochial style.
No question, okay? So that's what I came into. But when Mac came, okay, and we went 4-7 my first year. When Mac came, Mac brought energy, okay? And the way he marketed the program, the way he sold the program to the community, the way he sold it to former alumni, the way he sold it to the UT fan base was brilliant, okay? And it's been repeated over the years from different other people who have taken that model and put their own spin to it, right?
Absolutely.
So he said 3 things. He said, come early, okay, be loud, and stay late. Simple.
Okay.
Okay, and if you go to football games and when you go to these big time programs, fans, what they do?
Come early.
Okay, what they do when they're in there?
They're very loud.
Okay, and what they do after?
And they there long after the game is over.
That's all I'm asking, right? But in order to do that, you got to put a product out there that people want to see. Okay.
Well, and in this case, I'll say this. I know people. The alumni at Waco High know what this program is all about.
Right.
We know what the product is.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a time for us to get in line behind the kids and make their experience just as meaningful
right now.
And as large as ours was as players.
No question.
And it's up to us as a community to do.
Yeah. Come out. Hey, come out to practice. Okay. All right. Come out there. These kids need to see former alumni out at practice, or just be there to watch. Hey, line them gates up. Okay, I don't listen. And it's gonna be at some point where there's a cover there, and you're gonna have to be in there.
Yeah.
But right now, when there's no cover there, come on out. Come see us. All right, come watch these kids, and because they need that. That's only gonna help. What happens is, what I learned was when I was at Texas. Okay, practice were intense. Okay, the practice were hard in the games. All right, when you had a program where practice is intense and there are fans on the side and they're watching, you got media and they're at practice and they're watching, you learn that, the spotlight never leaves. Like, it's always on you. So when you get in the games, you can't wait to play, and all that hoopla and noise is normal.
It's not a shock.
No, you got to understand, like, I want these kids to be able to understand how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. One thing I want to mention, I almost let it slip.
Go ahead.
But I'll mention it before we go.
Go ahead.
Is that you've done some great things in the field house.
Hey, man.
And anybody who wants to see just the aesthetics changes that have been made by Coach Cavil, you have a tremendous interior designer
But
you've done some great aesthetic changes with the locker room. Yeah. You added some technology in the building.
A little bit.
And it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And we talked briefly yesterday about some things. You want to also take it to the next level.
No doubt.
And so there are going to be more changes to come.
Yeah.
But anybody who wants to see what is happening in the field house, come out. Yeah. Coach Cavil mentioned to me that he has an open door policy for those people who have time. Practice starts properly at 3 o'clock. So probably from about 2 to until he's busy. Yeah. But in the mornings, great to come see.
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, all you gotta do. Look, I have a secretary. All right, and the doors are open. If they're not, someone will be there to open them. Okay, and the thing is I know that a lot of coaches are guarded, and I am to an extent. Okay, all right, you don't want everybody to just come and bombard your program, but I'm talking to these former Lions.
Okay. All right.
I'm talking to these guys that
know what it's like.
Their names are on the wall. Okay? You walk through there, you keep going, there's some bricks, your name is on that wall out there.
Yeah.
You need to come back. Okay.
Absolutely. You hear what he said. He said especially if your name is on that wall, there's no reason for you to be here.
Because there are stories behind you guys. And the kids want to hear these stories. That's what I've been at another place that's I coached at a place that's 30 miles down south. Okay, and they wear blue.
Yeah.
And they have a T on their side.
Yeah.
Okay, they got a blue helmet and they talk about this blue front, white back magic stuff.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've actually been inside the end of these walls. Yeah. Okay. And the one thing I know is that their alumni comes back. Okay, they have season ticket holders, okay? And it doesn't matter what the
situation is.
They're there, okay? Come spring, we were practicing and there'll be people lined up to watch. And what happens is that creates a training camp, NFL, UT atmosphere that the kids are accustomed to, and the expectations rise again. So then they end up saying, I don't want this feeling to leave, right? So that's what I'm looking to create. And I know that wins kind of produce that to an extent, but
And Kwame, the way I feel
yeah,
is as our brother
yeah,
that wore the
no question,
scarlet and gray.
no question.
We owe it to you being at the helm to
Yeah.
come and support regardless of the record.
No question.
Your
Yeah.
ability to coach
Yeah,
will be seen by
Right.
the product on the field.
right.
But as your brother,
No question.
I owe you support
I appreciate
regardless.
it. Appreciate it.
You know, and that's what I plan to give you. And
Thank
there's
you.
so many other people out there
Thank you.
that I've talked to and pledged to give it to you. It's just a matter about us getting organized
Yeah.
and how we're gonna do it
Right.
and make sure it happens. Right now, we don't have to be organized. Just come.
Yeah.
Just come out. Matter of fact, I think we're gonna have a little something this Saturday.
Yeah.
Probably to show you're gonna have a 10-play scrimmage.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're gonna go out there and do a little. It'll be the first, because now football's a little different. When we played, you just go out, you get your pads right now, and it's click clack right now. Well, the game has changed a little bit, and you got this acclimation period that you got to go through, and you
Okay.
have to do it.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
because the kids are bigger, stronger, faster. The game has changed a little bit, so you have to acclimate a little bit. So the UIL mandates that you have a 5-day window where you get the kids acclimated to
The heat, the pads,
the pads, everything that comes with football. So that day is actually when the pads come on. So that's the last 5th day of that acclimation period where you can click clack, right?
Okay.
And most schools do that. They have, once the pads come on, they let people get adjusted, and then they not only, most practices, are open anyway, but that's when football really starts.
Okay.
Right now, it's like basketball on grass.
Well, yours was
So,
Waco High today was a little more intense than basketball on
well,
grass.
always. Ain't that what being a lion is about, though, right?
Yeah.
essence of
Matter
that-
of fact, I didn't. About the first 15 minutes, I didn't realize there wasn't no pass.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, you got, hey, it's secrets to war, right? And you got to find a way to bring physicalness when that has been removed out of it, right? So you got to find a way to be creative in that, and that's what I learned from the pros, right? We didn't have to have pads on to still establish physicalness, right? We didn't have to have full pads on to have a fast tempo practice and not worry about people getting injured, right? It's a way you practice, right? And it's a way that you can get those reps without banging around, right? You got to be technically sound on that.
There were no walkthroughs today. I'll just put it like that. There were no walkthroughs today.
No.
And everything looked really great, Coach.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank you, Coach, for
Thank
sitting
you.
down and having a conversation with me. Again, I'm sure I was hoping that maybe we could take some questions or something like that, but that
My fault.
No. Hey, we got into a great conversation, and the main thing that I want you to get out of this is come back to Waco High, come see what Coach Cavil is doing. He's doing some awesome things with the team, and this is a great opportunity for our community. It's not just about him. Mm-hmm. It's about our entire community.
Bigger than us.
And if, in my opinion, if you can't support Waco High and Coach Cavil, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, we have one of our guys at the helm, and we should be out here coaching.
It's a special time, man.
Thanks again, Coach.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate you giving me access.
Man. No doubt.
Thanks
man.
again.